Ah, Christmas. A time of giving, a time of family and good cheer, a time when friends come together to create lasting memories for the years to come. And of course, video games. And oh yeah, it's freaking cold! It is currently -45 degrees. So if I could choose a video game world to head south to for the winter, where would I go? Well, someplace tropical, of course. Duh! My top memorable tropical, deserty video game worlds. Yeah, let's go with that. Number 6. A word I'm going to use a lot during the video is ambience. And if there ever was a world that oozed tropical ambience, that would be Kong Island from Donkey Kong Country. Rare did an amazing job using the Super Nintendo's hardware to create a world where it looks like I can take lazy days under the palm trees and relax sipping on a pina colada with DK. There's even ruins! Deserted ruins on a tropical island. Later iterations such as in the Wii U's Tropical Freeze gives us a look at how gorgeous Kong Island actually is. That water slide from the beginning looks like so much fun. I can only imagine how DK and the crew kick it when they're not trying to reclaim their stolen bananas. Kong Island is definitely on my list for one of the best tropical video game worlds. Number 5. Based on locations in Southeast Asia, Spira is definitely a world I would love to visit. The pristine beaches, the lush forests, the temples scattered throughout the islands amidst foliage and mountains, and of course, the Blitzball. Final Fantasy X Spira is the epitome of a tropical vacation getaway, but I remember playing Final Fantasy X way back when it first came out, thinking to myself, how can a world so beautiful and vibrant be so sad? You see, in Final Fantasy X, the inhabitants of Spira believe the giant whale fiend called Sin is their justice for living easy cushy lives dependent on machines or machina. The main character Tidus lives in a Spira 1,000 years before the Spira we see in the game. He's thrust into a world where the comforts of modern technology are frowned upon and forgotten for a more simple lifestyle. The ever-looming threat of Sin's return causes our heroes to journey to bring about the calm, a period of peace and happiness between Sin's defeat and its return. I loved Final Fantasy X for its story and just how much lore is put into the world. Spira's tropical ambience will always stick with me as one of the more vibrant locales. Number 4. Isle Delfino definitely deserves a spot on the list. The warm, sun-kissed archipelago our lovable plumber travels through is an obvious choice to visit during the winter. You can literally see the heat waves which, while playing Super Mario Sunshine, draws you into the world. The beaches are sandy, the waters are crystal clear, the fruits are ginormous, all tying in together a tropical vacation. Hell, Mario and the gang are in fact headed to Isle Delfino for vacation. Only when they arrive they get anything but. Mario is tasked with cleaning up the islands of ink and sludge, but as he rids the places of filth, we can see the lush and vibrant world of Isle Delfino. To me though, what really sets the mood is the music. From steel drums to marimbas and maracas, the music definitely helps to establish the tropicalness of the game. Isle Delfino is definitely a place I would have to visit during the winter. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda has portrayed Hyrule a dozen different ways, from Ocarina of Time to Twilight Princess, from A Link to the Past to A Link Between Worlds, but the one I want to visit is technically above Hyrule, the Great Sea. You see, in the events prior to the Wind Waker, the hero of time never showed up to defeat Ganon and his forces. The three goddesses then flooded all of Hyrule in an attempt to seal away the evil. The people of Hyrule fled to the mountains, to which years later became the islands of the Great Sea. I want to go to the Great Sea solely for this reason alone. The diversity of the many islands the Great Sea has to offer is immense. From Outset Island's quaint little forest to the strange angular isles, I enjoyed every bit of exploration during my time on the Great Sea. What's more, I've always dreamed of sailing the open ocean, fighting the restless winds, and living off the bounty of the sea. If I had a choice to which Hyrule I'd want to visit, I'd say the Great Sea. Number 2. Final Fantasy Tactics on the original PlayStation portrayed the world of Ivelisse as a temperate European country. The Ivelisse I fell in love with is better portrayed as a harsh desert world, sprinkled with life and cities across its lands. Final Fantasy XII's Ivelisse is the best portrayal I've seen. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Advance 2 did a pretty good job as well. The Ivelisse of Final Fantasy XII is portrayed as a Middle Eastern country which really reminds me of Aladdin or Knights of Arabia. Sand everywhere. I like sand. Right, Anakin?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Whatever. I imagine myself as a stout sand warrior who knows the lands and lives off his quick wits. Dalmasca and Rabanastre are some of the kingdoms I'd make a stop when visiting Ivelisse. With the tall buildings and sprawling cities, the hundreds of shops, and the secret passageways into castle treasure chambers, in Ivelisse, you can make any event into an adventure. Not necessarily taking place solely on the island of Greatlog, Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 starts us out on the island. Rather than acting as the whole world, Greatlog is more of a hub area linking to the other worlds. Still, I like to visit Greatlog to see how the inhabitants live their everyday lives on the small floating stretch of land. Number 1. The Nido Archipelago easily deserves the number 1 spot on my list. I mean, it's one of my favorite video games. Aside from that, the world of Chrono Cross truly encompasses the nature of the tropics. The pristine clear waters, the rich green landscapes, the flora and fauna, the different locations our heroes travel to, and of course, the music. Hawaii has always been one of my favorite vacationing spots, and I don't know what it is, but I've always loved the sea, and some of my favorite areas in El Nido remind me a lot of our vacationings in Hawaii. The game does a really good job at creating an ambience for each island with the pre-rendered graphics. For its time, Chrono Cross was one of the best looking games, and in my opinion still holds up today. I can imagine myself sailing across the sea from island to island, searching for whatever I fancy, going on adventures, and kicking back in the sand. Oh, back already? Man, can you believe I've been doing videos for a year? I released my first episode of 2Stronkk last Christmas. Looking back, I can see my style starting to form. I really wanted to keep up with the times and play more modern games, but the games I wanted to talk about were games from my childhood or games that I felt didn't get enough attention. Hidden gems. I did some weird videos and some interesting sketches, but all in the name of having fun. And I thank you guys so much for all your support this entire year on YouTube. Thank you so much. This represents a year's worth of scripts, so here's to another year of awesome video game adventures. Until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you later.